it was yet another slow news day at Rolling Stone. So one of their reporters decided to write a hit piece against John Cena, claiming that he is following white nationalists on X. This is their evidence that hate speech is being harbored on X, and Elon needs to take action now to stop hate speech from being platformed and amplified by celebrities. This says the actor and wrestler has the hashtag #RiseAboveHate on his profile, but his feed features toxic influencers.
Yeah.
So we'll get into all of the details here.
And they went through and definitely like sussed out a lot of names.
They documented everything. Just for context, John Cena follows, as of filming this, 857,000 accounts.
I did see
on X.
I did see a super chat in here. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. The computer is being lame once again. Hold please. Let me see if I can find where they said it here. It was up farther. Somebody said that John Cena, Greg Duvier says John Cena follows me, but not Brett, Mary, or Bertman.
Well, okay.
He does actually follow me.
He actually does follow you, Brett. You mentioned it to me the day it happened. I was like, that's kind of strange.
Well, I was like, well, there's no way this was on purpose for any real reason. There's literally nothing I offer the world that John Cena has any interest in.
I mean, every person who has actual social media literacy would know John Cena following over 800,000 people. He is not individually following every single account he sees. He has a bot employed to do so for him as a visibility promotion tactic. Yep. But it's clearly a very exclusive club of 800,000 people. He has a rosy reputation, beloved champion pro wrestler, blockbuster movie star, Guinness World Record holder for the most wishes granted through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. In the eyes of the public, John Cena is wholesome, all-American entertainer.
Yes.
So why is he following prominent white supremacists, anti-Semites, and hate accounts on X? It's probably not on purpose. It seems more than probable these accounts were indiscriminately followed by Cena's team without knowledge of the content they share. It underscores a crucial brand safety problem with X since Musk acquired the platform in 2022. In slashing moderation, welcoming back banned users, algorithmically boosting paid verified accounts, and promising the privilege of absolute quote-unquote free speech to far-right ideologues, Musk has created favorable conditions for misinformation and hate speech to run rampant and rack up engagement. And while following a toxic account cannot be taken as an endorsement, many of the feeds mentioned in this article are tracked by misinformation researchers, for example. It can be perilous for those with a certain image to protect. Only perilous if annoying hall monitors like you at the Rolling Stone draw attention to it.
Yeah.
Like many famous people, John Cena has his X account for promotional purposes.
And the majority of the stuff he posts are like inspirational quotes.
Yeah.
And media related to stuff he's releasing.
Actually, poignantly, he tweeted at one point, "Worry less about who follows you and more about where you are going." This is the type of content that you're going to see on John Cena's
I do want to
account.
point out that it's a bit disingenuous to believe that this dude wrote this article and did his research without finding this quote from SE Scoops where John Cena actually addresses this.
Right.
Where he says, "I follow everyone I can. I'm following over 800,000 people at the moment. I will just continue to follow 1,000 people a day. I follow people from everywhere. I don't care. No one is off limits. Your affiliations, your beliefs. I don't care because I want to hear all the voices."
Yeah, they also mentioned that Taye Diggs and some other celebrities have a similar tactic where they just mass follow or have a bot do it for them. I don't think that John Cena employs people to sit there 24/7 manually following random accounts until they get rate limited.
Nor do I think that he hits 1,000 follow buttons a day.
No one's thumbs are even capable of that.
Yeah.
It stands to reason that none of these individuals can possibly keep up with everything on their feed, and it would also make sense if they followed many of those accounts without carefully vetting their content. It's likely that social editors are managing these public profiles on their behalf. But given Cena's persona and the Rise Above Hate hashtag in his bio, it's strange that he follows someone like Andrew Torba, the anti-Semitic CEO of Gab, a social media haven for white nationalists and neo-Nazis. Yeah. Or Steve Saylor, a notorious eugenicist who writes for the anti-immigration hate site VDare, which happens to be owned by Hannah Claire's father. And they mentioned as well, he follows an account called Women Being Awful and Censored Men.
I mean, Women Being Awful is a hilarious account. I mean, it could be worse. It could have been women posting their L's.
And they say it's not just prominent hate accounts and conspiracy theorists. He even follows more obscure anonymous users openly attacking Jews, black people, immigrants, and the LGBTQ community. For example, the Gentile News Network, which almost exclusively posts anti-Semitic content. And another Cena followed blue check account at Violent Savages posts videos of black people fighting, adding racist commentary.
Again, I don't believe for a second that he found that account and then hit the follow button.
Yeah, I really want to see videos of black people fighting.
Also, I follow those accounts too, guys. So
Cancel Bertman.
yeah,
There's
cancel me.
Leave John Cena out of this.
There's actually a really critical point that maybe I'm overstating it here a little bit, but there's a critical point that could happen here into whether he chooses to address this or not. If this gets bigger and more people start to cover it, his choice to respond to this or start unfollowing people could say a lot about where we are going as a culture. Because he's anti-fragile for the most part. If he didn't work tomorrow, it wouldn't matter. But he is beholden to public image in a way. He's like on his profile, it has the Make-A-Wish Foundation linked right there. So it does matter. So him choosing to just simply ignore it and not address it could be a path forward for a lot of people if they're trying to figure out how you deal with sites like Rolling Stone that decide to just write articles like this, which have a very express purpose, which is not public interest. It's to control your behavior.
Yeah, shame and control.
Yes.
And knowing John Cena's public image and his reputation, it would make a whole lot more sense to me if he were mass following like CCP controlled bot accounts and like accounts that only tweet in Mandarin.
Heart, Xi Jinping heart.
Like, where was that in the following list? His roster also includes Keith Woods, an Irish YouTuber with ties to white nationalists, Richard Spencer and Nick Fuentes, as well as Pearl Davis, an anti-feminist influencer. And they also listed Ryan Dawson, a Holocaust denier, Isabella Maria DeLuca, an influencer who spreads misinformation about vaccines and promoted the white genocide conspiracy theory, Jake Shields, a former UFC fighter who is asked why we can't debate the facts of the Holocaust. They also listed Val Venus, formerly known as Sean Allen Morley, pro wrestler and anti-vaxxer who demonizes LGBTQ people and believes that George Soros is funneling immigrants into the U.S. Dom Lucra, a QAnon promoter, once banned for sharing CSA material on X. Musk reinstated his account.
It is true. Like, it's really funny. Val Venus is like this libertarian dude. They didn't mention Kane, pro wrestler Kane, mayor of Knoxville.
I guess he doesn't follow him.
My favorite one here is that one of these guys posts memes.
Yeah.
How dare
he?
Look,
it's wrong.
They can't fathom listening to people that you might disagree with and just taking in information from all sides because they look at information as a form of weaponry.
It's not even that. John Cena doesn't care about hearing people's perspectives. He probably doesn't even scroll on Twitter. He posts.
Yes.
Or has someone post for him.
And it's likely used
He
as
doesn't
a
even
way
have
to...
the credentials for his own account.
Yeah.
He's at that level of celebrity where he doesn't even engage with it, and he shouldn't because these people are insane.
So their topics that are off limits are vaccines, the Holocaust, feminism, anti-Semitism, anti-white racism, and LGBTQIA plus issues. Leaving you to talk about sports and whatever movies that they're in.
And maybe food.
And I suppose food and knitting.
Yes,
Women knitting
content.
and sewing.
So whoever handles John Cena's activity should be more careful about linking his name to these characters and causes, but it's also clear that the collapse of moderation on X has created an ecosystem where this stuff flourishes and is hard to avoid. That's what triggered an exodus by advertisers who decided they didn't want to buy space next to tweets from Nazis.
What if he made a post that was like, Nazis want to make a wish too?
I think what they're trying to do is place pressure on Elon with this piece, more so than John Cena.
So if you look at this writer, his name is Miles Klee. He writes a pretty good amount about Twitter and stuff like that. So here, I'll put this up on screen. This is a list of his Rolling Stone articles. He talked about here are the people who lost millions backing Musk's Twitter. Elon's Trump super PAC is run by survivors of the botched DeSantis campaign. And my personal favorite, I took a ride in a self-driving Tesla and never once felt safe.
So this
turn in your man card, dude.
This guy clearly just has a hate boner for Elon Musk and is doing anything he can to damage Elon's reputation.
He's also pro Reagan at the Olympics, so he's clearly a bad person.
I just looked up his Twitter account because it's attached to his author page on Rolling Stone. It looks like he's like deactivated it, like he's not even using it.
Well,
Where is
it's
he getting
in
this
protest.
information?
It's in protest of all of the hate.
Maybe
speech.
he's the one. We had somebody trolling in the chat up here. Maybe that was him.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's Miles. Damn you, Miles. So you just mentioned this, but last week there were court documents unsealed showing the full list of investors who contributed to Elon's takeover of Twitter back in 2022.
Yeah.
One of them was Diddy, which is really strange. They said he was part owner of X along with other investors, but the most famous one, aside from Jack Dorsey. And this is really interesting. There is this anecdote in a book about Diddy's investment. During the first week of Elon's takeover of X, he joined a call with advertisers in an attempt to quell their fears. And here's what Elon said to the head of Diddy's media company, Revolt, over concerns of growing racism on the platform.
Oh, so this is related to Diddy's stake in Revolt.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So Musk's approach to content moderation concerned him. He built upon Musk's metaphor to make his point. Quote, as a black man, I don't want to walk down a neighborhood where people are whispering the N-word, whether I hear it or not. I don't want to walk down a neighborhood where I hear one person whisper the N-word. Maybe nobody else heard it, but I did. As you continue down the path that you're going, I really recommend that you have conversations with this specific community and that we make sure whatever solutions are created are solutions that make them feel safe in a welcoming space. Elon agreed that Twitter should, quote, make people feel comfortable. But then he suggested that this entire premise might not matter. I don't know if you know this, but P. Diddy is an investor in Twitter, he said. Mm-hmm. You know, he's a good friend of mine. We text a lot. So that's something to raise an eyebrow at.
That definitely raises an eyebrow. I want to go back to Cena, right? So what a lot of it is, it's a lot of obfuscation through information overload. If you just go look at the dude's page, it's all promo and wholesome content, right? Mm-hmm. So this is actually different. When he started doing this was when he was advertising Ricky Stenicki and he was posting the OnlyFans content. Remember that when he
was cross-dressing?
When he had an OnlyFans and he was advertising his OnlyFans, and this was as like a promotion for this movie. Mm-hmm. I didn't do any research further because, believe it or not, they don't pay me enough for that. But
Funny.
You get what I'm saying, right? I'm not going and investigating John Cena's OnlyFans, whether it's real or not. But the point is, the rest of the content that he makes is fairly wholesome. So his most recent post, at least since I refreshed last, was 8 hours ago. It says, a pause can be very powerful and meaningful. Embrace silence when it's called for and try to minimize the urge to speak simply to end silence. Like, oh no, the opinions that this man shares are just so dangerous.
Right.
Right?
It's just not believable in the slightest.
Make an effort to operate with authenticity, grace, and patience. He should just be making live, laugh, love posters.
These could be written by AI. We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, all of these would not be out of place at a Hobby Lobby.
Lead with love.
Yeah.
Live, laugh, love.
This is always more. There's always more than one metric for success. Define what a win looks like when you start, and then start from there. That's something a lawyer tells you when they're trying to figure out like what you're going to get in a settlement.
Well, my conclusion here is it was an Elon Musk hit piece disguised as a John Cena hit piece that John Cena should most definitely not publicly address. He should not make a statement or a response to this.
Yeah. I just looked up his OnlyFans, and it's just a picture of a bed, man. It's just a picture of a bathtub.
without
I don't see anything.
John Cena in it.
I don't see anything.
It did not at one point.
Well, we already saw all of it
Yeah.
at the Oscars, so
Yeah.
there's nothing to sell.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.